Hi, Gil Martin here, and welcome everybody to the Daily Packers Post, where we bring you daily in-depth coverage of the Green Bay Packers. Playoff time. Looking forward so much to Sunday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles, where the 7th-seeded Green Bay Packers take on the number 2 seed Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. Not going to be an easy matchup, but I will say this, and I think week 1 showed this as well. Packers are perfectly capable of winning this football game. Don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification bell so you never miss an episode whenever we drop a new one. We're going to go all season, playoffs, off season with you right here on the Daily Packers Post. So each week on Friday, we take a look at the 6 keys to victory for the Packers. These are matchups or things that we need to have happen for the Packers to win the football game. We also make our fearless predictions. And I think the obvious first key for the Packers is going to be to try to contain Saquon Barkley. And, both the Packers and the Eagles are run-first teams. Their offense goes from the running game, and then they set up the passing game that way. Barkley led the NFL with 2,005 yards on the ground this year. He probably would have broken the single-season rushing record, not for the Eagles, but for the league, had Philadelphia not probably, wisely chosen to sit him out of the season finale against the New York Giants. He ran for 13 touchdowns, averaged 5.8 yards per carry, and 125.3 yards per game. Barkley can also catch passes out of the backfield, 33 catches for 278 yards and a pair of scores. One of those scores coming in week 1 against the Packers. Look, Green Bay's running game or run defense has been strong. They are 7th in the league, allowing just 99.4 yards per game on the ground. One of the keys in my mind, and one of the things that I think can make a difference for the Packers, rookie linebacker Edgerrin Cooper, recently named the NFC Rookie of the Month on defense, 8 tackles for loss in the last 4 games. They need Cooper to do his job. Obviously, guys like Kenny Clark, TJ Slayton, if he's ready to go, Quay Walker, who hopefully will be back, all going to be important as far as containing Barkley. But I think here's the thing. Barkley's going to get yards. You're not going to hold him to, 12 or 20 carries for 25 yards. That's not likely. But don't let him beat you. Don't let him make big plays. Don't let him dominate the game. Set the pace. Make him earn every yard and contain him. You're not going to shut him down, but if you contain him and then force the Eagles to be a pass-first team, that makes a big difference on Sunday. Now, next up, Jalen Hurts. He has missed the last 2 games due to a concussion and most of a third. He did return to practice Wednesday. They expect him to play Sunday, but I think it's going to be important for the Packers to do 2 things with Hurts. Number 1, get some pressure on him. It's been kind of tricky for the Packers defense and Jeff Hafley to get pressure on the opposing quarterback. Why? Well, just rushing 4 and, just the 4 down linemen, there just hasn't been a consistent pass rush. So you got to dial up some blitz packages. Now, Hafley prefers to still send 4, but what he likes to do, you put 6, 7 guys on the line of scrimmage. You rush 4, sometimes 5, but you rush 4, but it's not easy for the offense to determine which 4. You'll have a defensive lineman dropping back into coverage, maybe a linebacker or even a slot corner or a safety coming on the blitz. Got to get a little pressure on Jalen Hurts and make him make mistakes. Edgerrin Cooper rushes the passer well. We need more from Rashawn Gary, Kingsley Enagbare, Brenton Cox, Devontae Wyatt, and Kenny Clark. to try to manufacture some pressure on the Eagles quarterback. And also, even though he's coming off the concussion and may not be as adventurous scrambling and running with the football, do not let Jalen Hurts beat you with his legs. He was second on the Eagles in rushing yards. The Packers this year have actually been really good for a change at keeping running quarterbacks from beating them. You've got two linebackers with speed in Quay Walker and Edgerrin Cooper. One of them could be spying on Jalen Hurts during this game. And then the third thing for the defense, you got two really good receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Now, Brown may have suffered a knee injury, left practice early on Thursday, but not sure whether or not, they do expect him to be ready to go, but we'll keep an eye on that injury. But both Smith and Brown, really good receivers for Philadelphia. And the Packers obviously do not have Jair Alexander, not just for this game, but for the rest of the postseason. So it's going to be up to Carrington Valentine, who's been playing much better over the last 3 or 4 games, and Keyshawn Nixon, Mr. Versatility in the secondary. Again, you get the feeling that Brown and Smith are going to get their catches, but the defense has to prevent splash plays. Do not allow them to score quickly and easily and make those game-changing plays that really take things and tilt the field immediately in the favor of the Philadelphia Eagles. Also be interesting to see how Jalen Hurts handles Xavier McKinney, who is so good at going to the ball and intercepting the ball and has such a high football IQ. That'll be an interesting matchup as well. And maybe McKinney and the Packers could force a few turnovers. Flipping it over to the Green Bay offense, I think it all starts with Josh Jacobs and the running game. He is the catalyst of this offense. And I'll take it a step further. Josh Jacobs, after struggling through, playing for some really bad or mediocre Raiders teams, both in Oakland and in Las Vegas, he is probably more excited about this playoff game than almost anybody else. And the Packers are going to want to set the tone with Jacobs and keep feeding the beast. He runs so well between the tackles. And there's going to be a great matchup where Josh Myers, Sean Ryan, Elton Jenkins are going up against Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, and Milton Williams in the middle of that Philadelphia defense. The Packers do really well with double teams. They get that first little crease for Josh Jacobs to run through, and then Jacobs makes people miss, even though he's running, in between the tackles in a phone booth. Packers have got to establish the running game early and not abandon it, and that is going to be an important factor. Now, for the passing game, obviously you got to compensate for the absence of Christian Watson. He is unavailable. You got to somehow, have somebody step up. To me, it's going to be a combination of players, whether it's Luke Musgrave, who can get deep and may only play 15, 20 snaps, but maybe you scheme up a couple of plays for Luke Musgrave and are able to pull off, 1 or 2 splash plays down the field. Dontavian Wicks, who has been better at holding on to the ball as of late. And then obviously, can we see Jayden Reed, the same Jayden Reed we saw in the first half of the season, where he was playing such an electric game? I hope we can. And, got to protect Jordan Love. Love suffered an elbow injury, had a little issue, left the game against the Bears early. Keep in mind also that Malik Willis, the Packers' backup, suffered a thumb injury on his throwing hand. So hopefully, Love is expected to play. He and Willis were both full participants on Thursday in practice, but Will they be able to pass the ball? Will they have the right feel for the ball? It could be cold. It could snow on Sunday. Well, more likely to snow on Saturday in Philly, according to the weather forecast. But it could be pretty cold. It can be windy down in Philly. If Jordan Love is out there, and hopefully he will be, also got to protect him. It is going to be imperative because, let's face it, the Philadelphia Eagles pass defense is elite. And they really, the Packers are going to need to give Love some time to throw the football. Josh Sweat, Nolan Smith, they're the top two pass rushers coming off the edge. So you got Rasheed Walker and Zach Tom lining up against those two guys. Got to give some time to throw to Jordan Love to get the job done. And then one other key I'm going to put out there, besides the obvious win the turnover battle, don't beat yourself with bad penalties and drop passes. Here's another thing. Getting off to a fast start is going to be critical in this game. Both the Packers and the Eagles are run-first offenses. Not that they can't throw, not that they don't have dangerous weapons downfield, but they are run-first teams. If the Packers take an early lead and establish that lead, that helps the running game for Green Bay, and it may force, if you take maybe a 2-score lead, you may force Jalen Hurts to have to beat you with his arm, which is what I think the Packers want to do. So let's see what's happening with that. But I think getting off to a fast start would be big. And if the Packers win the toss and score on that first drive, Matt LaFleur always likes to receive. Boy, that would be big for the Packers. Quiet the crowd, get momentum, and force the Eagles to try to come from behind. As for my prediction in this game, I think it's going to be okay. It's going to be close. It's going to go down to the wire. But here's the thing. This is still the youngest team in the NFL. I think the Packers are still learning as a team how to win close games against elite opponents. The Eagles are at home. I think the outcome is in doubt in the final minute, but my prediction is Eagles 34, Packers 31. And to be honest with you, I really hope I'm wrong about that prediction. Either way, we will continue our daily coverage of the Packers throughout the offseason. So we will be here every day giving you in-depth daily coverage of your Green Bay Packers. Don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. Hit the bell so you get notified whenever we drop a new episode. And don't forget to check out thepackerspost.com for daily articles about your Green Bay Packers. I'm Gil Martin, looking forward to Sunday's playoff game against the Philadelphia Eagles. Take care, everybody. And of course, go Pack, go.